Yes, Rambo 6 may still happen according to Sylvester Stallone. Even though Rambo Last Blood was supposed to be the final installment, Stallone has since hinted on social media that it might not be. With the seemingly conclusively titled Rambo Last Blood, action legend Sylvester Stallone brought Rambo back to the big screen back in 2019.
This is what it feels like.
Rambo Last Blood was widely believed to be the tormented veteran's last outing, but Stallone has since hinted on social media that this may not be the case after all, in part because he explicitly stated that this would be the case. If we're lucky, John Rambo might make a comeback in Rambo 6. Apple TV received the extended cut of Rambo Last Blood, which had previously been available on Amazon Prime Video since May. Stallone unexpectedly revealed that despite the marketing for Last Blood claiming it to be the last Rambo adventure, viewers could not have seen John Rambo before. Sylvester Stallone appears to be considerably more taken with the extended version of Rambo Last Blood, referring to it as The Real Journey, and is maybe holding off on making any official announcements about the character's comeback until after the success of this other version of the film's release. Stallone's return as Rambo has fared less favorably with critics than that of another of his iconic movie characters, boxing hero Rocky Balboa, who was not only brought back to finish his franchise, but also successfully spun off into the critically acclaimed film Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan. Meanwhile, upon its premiere, Rambo Last Blood was met with scathingly critical reviews, with complaints over the writing, the graphic violence, and charges of racism and xenophobia towards Mexico. While not quite the flow labeled at the time, the film's worldwide box office take of over $91 million against a production budget of $50 million and estimated costs of roughly $30 million for print and advertising is undoubtedly a letdown for a Stallone Rambo movie. Given the critical and commercial failures, it comes as no real surprise that Stallone is thinking about giving Rambo one more chance to leave the world of film on the high note he so well deserves. Rambo Last Blood finds Stallone reprising his role as one of the greatest action heroes of all time, John Rambo, over 4 decades after the last adventure and almost 10 years after he drew his first blood. Rambo's tranquil life in Arizona at his late father's horse ranch is disturbed when Gabriela, a friend's granddaughter, vanishes in Mexico. He decides to release her from the local cartel's control, beginning a circle of retaliation. Rambo The Last Blood, the 5th entry in the Rambo series, is directed by Adrian Grunberg and co-stars Paz Vega, Sergio Perez-Menchita, Adriana Barraza, Yvette Monreal, Jeannie Kim, Joaquin Coso, and Oscar Yaniada. The screenplay was co-written by Matthew Kirulnik and Sylvester Stallone. From Sylvester Stallone's official Instagram account, we get this. More so recently, Sylvester Stallone provides fans with an update on the progress of the prequel film to Rambo, which is now in production, stating that he believes it will eventually be released. In a recent interview, Stallone addressed the prospect of a Rambo prequel. The renowned actor, writer, and director have been working for more than 50 years, and there are no indicators that he will ever quit. In his most recent role, he will play a mafia leader entrusted with building a criminal empire in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for Paramount Plus's new The Tulsa King series. He has recently been keeping himself busy with projects including James Gunn's critically praised The Suicide Squad and Amazon Prime's superhero drama Samaritan, where he voices DC fan favorite King Shark. Beginning with the 1982 film First Blood, Stallone elevated the character of John Rambo to the same level as his legendary portrayal of Rocky Balboa. Over 40 years, the combat-tested veteran of Vietnam has fought everyone from Soviet Russians in Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Rambo 3 to the Mexican cartel in Rambo Last Blood. Although there are fans of these sequels, the fantastical ideas are a far cry from the intensity that made the First Blood a beloved picture in the canon of 1980s action movies. Stallone recently expressed to fans that he is still hopeful about getting a prequel about the life of John Rambo, made in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. The actor doesn't quite appear to know where the prequel might go, though. Stallone added, "I believe it will take place. I wanted to approach it similarly to a Ken Burns Vietnam documentary, where you introduce a young Rambo as a friendly football captain and then show the inspiration behind his transformation into Rambo. However, they intend to write a contemporary tale in which I relinquish leadership. That is approaching." So what the Rambo prequel could add to the character? Rambo is frequently a very isolated and silent figure, only occasionally revealing glimpses of his inner frailty in scenes like the heartbreaking finale of First Blood to the opening act of the most recent installment, Rambo Last Blood. Longtime fans may find it strange to read Stallone's ideas about portraying a young Rambo as an outgoing football captain, but that strategy may be just what the prequel needs to give more depth to a frequently one-note character. Additionally, the drama surrounding Rambo's development as a young soldier and his interactions with Colonel Troutman, who serves as his mentor in the first 3 movies, may be compelling. As we said earlier that Rambo Last Blood had a mediocre box office performance in 2019, and many critics and fans found the film's nihilism and cruelty to be unappealing. Perhaps a more character-driven prequel, as Stallone is alluding to, could restore the heart to the series that has been lacking since the early Rambo chapters, with its excessive quantity of gore and somewhat retrograde political tilt. Whatever the strategy, fans should be thrilled to learn that Stallone will be involved in John Rambo's return and that the actor's narrative appears to be far from over. If Rambo 6 does take place, the only way to salvage the franchise is to take Rocky's lead and cease paying attention to Sylvester Stallone. The Rambo series hasn't been very successful lately, and the only way for Rambo 6 to succeed is to emulate Rocky and forget Sylvester Stallone. The 2-movie series are Stallone's most well-known works. Rambo Last Blood made the mistake of continuing to star the 76-year-old actor, whereas 2015's Creed made the wise choice to cast Stallone as a supporting character. In the first Rambo movie, First Blood, Vietnam veteran John Rambo is forced to fight a small town's police after returning home. Although the Rambo franchise now has 5 films instead of the first one, which was intended to be standalone, none of them feel necessary. The most recent entry in the franchise, Rambo Last Blood, was a critical and commercial flop, demonstrating the series' complete deterioration. It's not irredeemable though. All they would need to do in the event of Rambo 6 is replicate Rocky's journey. The most recent Rocky films, Creed and Creed II, follow Adonis Creed, son of Apollo Creed, as he is trained by Rocky Balboa rather than Rocky Balboa's boxing career. Since the Creed movies have received critical acclaim that hasn't been seen in the Rocky franchise in years, they have demonstrated that concentrating on younger talent and making Stallone a supporting role is the wisest course of action. Even while Sly is still a great actor, he is simply too old to play the lead in an action film, as Stallone's most recent superhero film, Samaritan, has demonstrated. Rambo 6 would be improved by concentrating on a younger sibling of another series character. Stallone can still have a role, but he shouldn't be the main one. One option could be to concentrate on a relative of Colonel Troutman, a figure who has served as Rambo's father since the first movie. The series may return to its roots by portraying the tale of a soldier suffering from PTSD and how Rambo can assist them. Rambo 6 would be following Creed's example by doing this, maybe revitalizing the series after all these years.